golf, and the Senate is on recess until today at 2 p.m. Eastern? Where is the outrage over that? The Republicans are in Washington working till late into the night Saturday night, early Sunday morning, ready to talk, asking to negotiate. And everybody went home on the Democratic side on Friday afternoon and said, nope, we're not talking. See you Monday afternoon. I'm playing golf, said the president. God knows what Harry Reid and the rest of them did. So I don't get it. I really don't get why the outrage isn't there. But maybe the congressman from Georgia, Jack Kingston, could fill us in a little bit on that as we welcome in the senior member of the House Appropriations Committee in the House. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great, Steve, or I'd say that with very guarded terms because, right now we're at a tentative stage in this negotiation with the Senate, or maybe lack of negotiation.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to ask you, sir. First of all, when is the vote going to take place in the House? Because it's in your court, as they say. And what will be in the or attached to the CR, and how long a CR will it be? Have you guys decided that?
Well, the vote will probably take place around 6 o'clock for the rule and around 8 o'clock for the actual vote after debate is over with. And I'm guessing in the 7 to 8 o'clock range on that. Mm-hmm. The CR goes till December 15th. And the two amendments that we're going to give Harry Reid yet another chance to negotiate on, and it's one that would give individuals the same exemption that the president gave big business. It's a fairness question. If he was going to exempt big business, shouldn't we also say individuals could have 1 year of exemption? And then secondly, that members of Congress and Capitol Hill employees would lose the premium subsidy, which has become so controversial. So, we want to give Harry Reid a chance to say, yes, we'll accept that. And frankly, for those people who do want to kill Obamacare, choking off the oxygen to the beast by removing the individual mandate, that's a way to do it.
Even delaying it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So do you have? I mean, I guess you have the votes, but are you at all concerned that we've heard from people like Congressman Peter King, who reportedly stood up at the to the caucus and said, "I'm against this," and at least one other congressman who I don't recall who went on CNN and said basically the same thing: "Let's end this, and we can't win. We're going to lose. So I don't want to shut down the government." I mean, are there many more like them?
I think there are. I think that people kind of realize that we're in a barroom fight, if you will, and that there's collateral damage politically and otherwise. But the reality is, if we cannot get Obamacare back on the table, it's $1.7 trillion in spending on top of a national debt that's already 100% of the GDP. If not now, when? And if not us, who? I mean, it's the same debate that we always have, that we traditionally punt and go down the road and say, okay, we're going to do it next time. And so we have said we were going to be very tough on this, and that's the time is now. Well,
when you say, sir, that you think there are others who are concerned about collateral damage, I mean, how significant a number on the Republican side are you concerned about at this point?
I think there could be maybe 15 or so who say, you can always find a reason to vote no. I've been in Congress for a while, and whatever the bill is, even if it's one that commemorates Mother's Day, you can find
right, but not enough to turn the tide and reject the bill.
We're not whipping it, but I think right now we would have the votes to pass it, and I would think some Democrats would come on board because this bill keeps the government open, and it does give individuals the same exemption the president gave big business, and they have constituents too that are outraged by the congressional subsidy. So we may pick up a few Democrats.
Now let me ask you. We're talking to Congressman Jack Kingston from the great state of Georgia here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Let me ask you to speculate, and let's just assume, okay, you get it passed. Harry Reid does what Harry Reid said he will do, and that is nothing except a so-called clean CR. then it go. I mean, if the government shuts down, I mean, will you be able to hold enough Republicans to keep it shut down, or will you then pick your next fight for the put it all on the debt ceiling?
I think that's the billion-dollar question, and I don't know the answer to it. But I would say this: that I'm not convinced that Harry Reid is really 100% committed to keeping the government open. I believe that there is political cynicism among some that say, hey, if my party's going to be the perceived winner in public opinion through a shutdown, then let's shut it down and pick up whatever political goodwill we can from it and blame it on the other guys. And I do think that's part of today's calculus, and I don't like to say that, but I do think it's part of the thinking that goes on. I would say that the majority of people want to keep the government open in both parties, but and another thing is we talk often about 1995 there being a 21-day shutdown. There was actually another one that was a 5-day shutdown. So in the event that we could not agree with the Senate on something tonight, they adjourn and don't worry about things. You can always come back in a day or two and change this. Not a great way to do business, but it would not be the end of the world if you couldn't get it done by midnight. I'll point out also in 1990 there was a 3-day shutdown. In 1987 there was a 1-day shutdown. So this is not political unknown territory.
No, and Congressman, let me interrupt. In 1976, there was a 10-day shutdown when the Democrats ran the House and the Senate. In let's see, I can't see it to say how long. In 1977, 12 days. Democrats ran the House and the Senate. 1977, 8 days, Democrat. 77 again, 8 days, Democrat. 78, 18 days, Democrat. So, I mean, the media doesn't want to tell anybody about this, but you guys should be trumpeting this all over the place.
I'm glad you point that out. One of the concerns is that having been here in 1995 when we did shut down, the media was generally neutral on it. Now, the media can have some bias, but they weren't proclaiming whose fault it would be in advance. But now I think there is, particularly in some of the other media outlets, it's going to be the Republicans' fault. I mean, they've already chosen their side. They already.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and the language that's being used. I think it was Congressman Labrador on Meet the Press who did it so eloquently and beautifully, who confronted Chris Matthews, who's called the Republicans terrorists, and he said, "Your boss, Tip O'Neill, shut the government down 12 times, and was he a terrorist? Oh, well, you see, those were usually short, and that was different." Well, they weren't short, as I just indicated to you, and how that's different, except that it was Tip O'Neill and not, John Boehner, I have no idea.
It is. I think it's just amazing. Under this president, the media has decided whose team they're on, and they're just, there's not even a pretense of objectivity among some of the outlets. And that's why it's so great to have shows like yours, because those of us who want more information, we have an outlet to go to.
Well, Congressman, I appreciate that, but it's people like you that make shows like this possible, and we admire what you're doing there, and keep up the good work, and thank you very much for taking the time to be with us.
All right, Steve, let's do it again.
We will, very soon. I'll call on you. Thank you.
Okay.
Congressman Jack Kingston, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. He doesn't know how soon we might call on him. Chad, we might be calling on him tomorrow or tonight for tomorrow. Anyway, so there you go. There you go. I mean, 18 days, 17 days, 12-day shutdowns. This is nothing new. And the media makes it seem like, oh, my God. And the language from Daniel Pfeiffer, the White House advisor, and others, terrorists, anarchists, kidnappers, hostage takers. Wow. All right, folks, we're coming back. We're going to be joined by Caroline Glick. We'll talk a little bit about the meeting between Barack Obama and Harry Reid. Barack Obama and Benjamin Netanyahu. Apologies to Benjamin Netanyahu on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.